We are live 364 days a year.
What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get sushi after Monday Night Raw?
Good evening from Swansea, South Wales, wrestling fans. AEW have introduced another new championship. I cannot get my head around that, and we are going to get into it, all of that, and also last night's episode of AEW Dynamite as well. I'm Ben Allison, your host of today's Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, and also joining me, firstly, we have over, not in LA, but near LA in Orange County, Clark Taylor. How are you, Clark?
I'm doing well. Happy Thursday, everybody. I was actually in San Diego, even further south of LA this morning, playing a little golf, so I'm feeling good. Had fun with Dynamite last night, and I can't wait to talk about it. We got a sweet crew, and happy Thursday.
Absolutely, is always a fun one. I am feeling a little bit under the weather because, of course, we are all sickos covering AEW, but also joining us today, we have Mary. How are you, Mary?
All is well. Another Dynamite review. All Elite Mary is in full effect. Had a great episode last night. I'm ready. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. And you know what, guys? I think we got a couple of comments here out the gates. DCX Warlord, happy National Saxophone Nachos Day. What? Oh, I can't hear you.
I was muted. I don't think that's a real day. Those seem like unrelated entities.
Saxophone nachos.
Those honestly, the biggest mistake I made actually in elementary school was you had to either pick an instrument or join the choir, and I can't sing a lick. So I picked the saxophone. I can't even fathom eating nachos, and then you have like the little wood piece on the end of that thing. I was the 12th chair of 12 saxophonists.
I figured out the mystery. It's Happy National Saxophone and Nachos Day. They're two separate days, but it is both of them, and DCX Warlord has now clarified it.
Love it.
But to Fernando's point, it's time to light the fuse and ignite this Dynamite review. So without further ado, let's get into the first topic, because AEW have introduced another new championship. That's right, before last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone went live on social media, and it was announced that AEW are bringing back the old national championship, the old NWA national championship, which was on TBS for most of 1985, some of 1986, before it then got moved. It then got scrapped for quite a few years. Then NWA actually did bring it back, and it technically is still active in NWA today. In fact, Mike Mondo, the current NWA national champion, went to social media to say, don't get it twisted. There is only one real national championship, and it is my one. But Tony Khan made it crystal clear it is inspired by that belt. But look, whether they're stealing that or they're not, the fact of the matter is, in wrestling, everyone takes inspiration from everything. I don't think that's a big factor here. The big factor, at least in my eyes, is they've introduced another title. Why, oh why, they have so many of these things. Most of their championships don't even feel important. The TNT championship once felt important. Now, I honestly forget it exists half the time, and it really annoys me. I feel like they should have less titles, not more titles. And the worst part is, they haven't even crowned the new women's tag team champions yet. They haven't even given that time to breathe. And they're already announcing another championship? Clark, to me, this is a complete and utter joke.
I couldn't disagree more. I absolutely think the number one thing that AEW needed was another singles title. I feel like there's not enough flowers being given to these stars and the work they're putting in. I can't even take myself seriously.
You can't even do that.
I made it like 30 seconds.
You can't even.
Dude, I was trying to carry the bit, and I was like, oh, don't break. It's unavoidable. It's pretty ridiculous. I think it's kind of funny if you think about it. Remember they renamed the All Atlantic Championship, and that was a shout out to a Mid Atlantic title. And now they're just taking old promotions in history, and they're like, let's use a belt. Let's do it. Why not? I've said this in the past when they've introduced new ones like this as well. The belt has to find an identity. You know, Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee with the TNT belt tried to give that belt an identity, and it had one for quite some time. It feels like that's gotten lost in the shuffle. You know, the international title, which was obviously renamed, or I guess the All Atlantic title was renamed. You got the Continental title from the Classic. You got the international title. All these similar. What do they represent? It needs an identity. If this one is like the wrestler's title somehow, where like it's defended guaranteed on one show week in and week out, and we can figure that out, go with like an AEW aesthetic. I think that's the only way to make this make sense.
Well, it would be, apart from they said that
definite
exact
choice.
stipulation about the TNT Championship
And
and
it's
the
never been the
Continental
case.
Championship.
And it's never been the case is the weirdest part, because the Continental Championship's built around a storyline with Okada and Takeshita right now. The TNT
And no, it's not even the
title,
Continental anymore. It's now the Unified, because they had to unify it with another title
the
they
unified title, the unified title. You know what I meant. Anyway, even the TNT title is more storyline based these days. The world title is always very storyline based. I think maybe if you make this one just like the pure wrestling title, it can survive. I'm not necessarily super fired up about it. I'll fully admit it. It was kind of funny to me. I will say, just though, from a tongue-in-cheek humor perspective, it tickled me, the announcement and everything. Like, it was so like that. Like, I wasn't even. It was so funny. I wasn't upset. Like I feel like I'm not giving it like the full like I gotta trash this, because honestly, when I saw it, I was just like, that's so just like, watch this, another one. Like, we're gonna get the women's trios next before we even crown the women's tag. It's gonna be like give me more titles. Who's going to be not carrying
What
a
is
belt?
Tony's obsession with new title belts? Because there is, like, jokes aside, there is genuinely clearly something there
Gold,
where, like,
Ben, gold.
he's
That's
like
what makes-
a bit obsessive. There's clearly something there with
Well,
him.
I mean-
Man loves his money and loves his gold.
Even the TNT belt at least was silver at first, and then they were like, no, scrap that. They all have to be gold. Like, they just, I don't know. Like, the funniest part is, like, and I don't want to try. I love AEW as a product, so I don't want to feel like I'm just trashing
we're not
But at the end
trashing
of
the
the day, like,
product. We're trashing the fact there's just a
in the-
million titles now.
in the Owen Hart Classic, they were like, you know what? Let's give him belts too. Like, just I don't even know if it's titles as much as it's belts. Like, it's. I think it's just belts, because it's not like those were being defended. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, should we give him a trophy? Nah. Like, give him a belt. I mean, the Dynamite Diamond Ring gets lost in the shuffle just because it's so much smaller than the rest of the titles and belts that you can possibly win. At least the poker chip, if you win a casino battle royal, is as big as a belt. It's
I don't even
like,
do those anymore, the
That's true.
poker chips now, do they?
No, I think they will for the casino this time. For the
They didn't do
probably
it
not,
last year.
because they'll put the title belt up there. What am I thinking? What am
Well,
I
it's not
thinking?
even that now. It's a gauntlet match they're doing. That's my other issue with this, by the way. I
They
haven't even
changed
got
the
onto this
format?
issue.
Yeah.
No, there is an issue with it. No, I've got a massive issue. The issue is the Casino Gauntlet. They found a match type, a unique match type, and they tried multiple unique match types, and they were all failures. They finally found one in the Casino Gauntlet, which was fantastic. It worked great. And I said this should be their Royal Rumble. Whether that means they get a title shot at All In, or it just means they get a guaranteed title shot whenever they want. Whatever they want to do, it should be a once-a-year thing, and it should be a huge, huge deal at All In or at a big show every year, because it's a great match type. They've done, I think, 6 of them in the last year. They found something and they just can't stop doing it. It's an addiction. And somebody take Tony Khan to Gimmick Matches Anonymous, because honestly, he needs to go there.
Gimmick Matches Anonymous is gold, Ben. I can't even. I had something planned to say. I didn't know that you would hit that exclamation point at the end. You've now broken me twice in one segment. You can't do that, Ben. Can't
Making
do
him
those
break
type of things.
kayfabe.
But I am I'm with you on that one. I mean, I don't know. It's to me, I just was like, all right, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know
We'll see.
who wins this one. I, I don't know what I don't.
There's a
I don't-
comment here.
And
And I want to get to this comment because it's from Luis Morales, and he says, like DJ Khaled, another one.
Another one.
But I mean, the Phenomenal Ace says the issue isn't the title itself, it's the fact that we already have the undisputed title with Okada that holds the same lineage and concept. But not only that, I've just gone to the AEW website, guys, and that unified title isn't even unified on the website because currently listed as active championships, they have the Unified Championship and the International and the Continental. So
Just
the
in case
two
you
titles
forgot.
which they have unified technically aren't unified on their website and still exist as separate entities.
Well, why would you, man? We're trying to get a title on everybody, Ben. Someday it'll be title versus title every match.
Everyone.
Every single one. 2 titles on the line. I mean, Mercedes
Winner takes all.
Moné is walking around with like 9 that aren't even from there.
Yeah, but
She's
that's
bringing
better
in
at least.
more.
They're not from there. That's at least they're titles which matter somewhere. Sure, we got too many titles in the same place.
Wait, Ben, before Mary gets a chance to like really break this
Okay.
down, because we got to give her some time on this. I just figured it out. I know exactly what they're looking for. Guinness Book of World Records, most titles on one show. They're going to get like 20. They're going to do it. They're going to do it at like full gear. They'll have like 20 on one pay-per-view. Guinness Book of World Records, chalk it up. AEW, most titles on a wrestling show. That's the strategy. I can see right through it, Tony Khan. If you hear me, I see it. You're going to break the Cena record. 20 belts on one show.
Well, WWE would
it's
just
gonna
do
be-
the same thing then and bring in more titles to do that and charge flipping $20 million per ticket and make you feel like it's your fault if you complain about the ticket prices.
They've got the whole roster carrying around the NFL titles. There's 32 of them.
That's funny.
It's ridiculous. Less titles. Kick title belts out of wrestling. That's what I want. Less title belts.
Yeah.
Just make them fight.
Mary,
Just make them
what
fight.
do you think about this?
Who cares about the belts anymore? I just want people to wrestle. We don't need to introduce any more titles. We need people to fight for their titles. That's it. I don't need to say anything else other than that. If we're going to have a multitude of titles, we need them consistently defended. Weekly.
I mean, yeah. But you don't even have as many like hours on a weekly basis to defend this many titles.
if
Because
we can
there's-
get the Don Callis family in every other segment, we can get the TNT title on there too. Just saying.
Yeah. Why not? While you're up.
Why
I
not?
think we'd have to give the titles all to the Don Callis family.
Every
Oh,
single
no,
one of them
no,
at this
that's
point.
what we're doing.
That's what I'm saying. If the Don Callis family is cooking up to hold every single belt in AEW right now,
The
I will come
Gold
back on
Callis.
this Dynamite.
The
That's
Gold
what they're
Callis
doing.
family.
Every
Gold
member's gonna hold the
Callis
title.
family.
Even Don.
Every- Yeah, even him.
The next one's going to be.
He'll be
the-
Hangman.
He's going to win the Canadian regional title. It's going to be the Vancouver Championship. They're going to introduce that one in January.
Judge, you really reckon they're gonna go a month without announcing a new title, Clark? That's
No,
a
no,
little
there's
bit
gotta be-
overconfident.
They've got like 2 more between now and then. That's going to be the exclamation point is when he wins the Vancouver Regional Airport Championship.
I mean,
brought to you
Regional
by
rivalry.
Wheaties.
people are saying, by the way, about like the Phenomenal Ace is saying, and a few others as well in the chat about, you know, Tony Khan could get in trouble for using the national name. Look, there is something which people don't really understand about this NWA. It is technically not the NWA. It technically is, but technically isn't, because the rights are technically halved. So it's like half of the NWA, but also Turner, WCW, and now technically WWE are actually the ones who own the national championship. And that trademark likely expired a long time ago. So what NWA currently own is the NWA National Championship. AEW are going to call it the AEW National Championship. And I don't think anybody can actually trademark just the National Championship anymore, because there's other sports in America with the same name, National Championship, for certain things. So I think that's technically the situation we're in here. I don't think there's going to be any legal issues at all.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine that that would be such an aggressive move. I mean, Andrade, the fact that that was even a funky thing that we saw this year blew my mind to just lob a championship, call it the national championship out there and then like get sued. I'd be more inclined to see like college football or college basketball be like, no, the national championship's our thing. Like then
That would be quite funny.
I don't see Billy Corgan, like bless him, but like he's not gonna be smashing any pumpkins. Halloween's over.
People are having a go at Mike Mongo for saying all this, right? I'll say this about it. I think it's really smart on his behalf because it's not like he's saying, oh, we should sue AEW. He's just saying, I'm the real national champion. Don't get it twisted. Theirs is a fake. Well, guess what? Nobody was talking about his NWA National Championship yesterday. Everybody's talking about it today. I don't have an issue with his tweet at all. People are saying it's petty. I believe he's also a heel. So all of these things, like...
Genius.
Yeah.
How do you not say something? Oh, I don't blame him in the least. I'm so with you on that, Ben. It's brilliant. That's exactly what you should do in that situation. Ride the wave. Like, are you serious? It's not like we were yesterday like, man, who's Mongo defending against? We might ask about it tomorrow.
I forgot he existed, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm like, honestly, it's like the best thing that's happened to him this year.
Oh my gosh. Millennial Noob says he thinks AEW might have annoyed NWA last night. I mean, that, you know, I think it's possible they're annoyed. I don't think it's possible they're going to take any legal action. DCX Warlord says they'll announce mixed titles by 2026. Numero One wants to see a 24/7 championship. He wants to see all these random competitors fight backstage or even interrupt matches to get that belt.
I mean, I want the intergalactic title Fernando suggested.
Intergalactic.
Let's go to space. Let's go to space. That's the next frontier. It's a little bit further up.
Let's create the Intergalactic Championship and the Heaven and Hell Championship. Yep. Oh, that gives me an idea for Sunday Fun Day.
Yep. The next Intergalactic Champion, I love. By the way, you put that on Luchasaurus right away. Makes perfect sense.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, let's move on to the next topic, shall we? Because I had another issue of last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, and it was the blood and guts advantage matches, right? Because look, at the best of times, War Games advantage matches are predictable because usually the heel team will win either the men's and then the face team will win the women's or whatever. Usually that is the case. But somehow, AEW found a way to make this even more predictable by doing 3 matches, which means whoever wins the first means that the other team is going to win the second. So 2 out of the 4 matches we saw last night, 3 out of the 5 we saw last night were predictable. We knew what was going to happen in them because, like, we already seen the babyfaces one earlier. So I'm going to be honest. I found last night's Dynamite pretty boring at times for just this reason. It was good wrestling, sure, but I knew the result. And I always say this, but predictable wrestling isn't fun wrestling. And you can have fun moments, of course you can, but just usually Dynamite feels quite unpredictable. And last night, to me, it didn't feel unpredictable. And that was just because of these advantage matches and how the results were so obvious, Clark.
I felt like at least the Darby and Garcia match was a little less predictable, but I very much hear where you're coming from on this. I thought it was possible we might see a clean sweep and then some more destruction on Collision, but the tie makes the most sense. Tie very much makes the most sense when it comes to this. I mean, look, when it comes to the Darby and Garcia match, you're looking at 2 guys that employ the sharpshooter and essentially versions of it. The Scorpion Deathlock and are we calling it the Dragon Tamer? Is that the name, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe so.
Yeah, the Dragon Tamer, which I actually think is a very cool, innovative version of that submission because it looks almost like a calf slicer when he locks it in. That one looks like it would cause a lot of pain nerve-wise on the shin. In relation to a traditional sharpshooter or a Scorpion Deathlock, that felt predictable. When Darby got stuck in it, Ben, that's where I saw the most of what you sort of just mentioned there. I'm like, this is so obvious. No, Lion Tamer's Jericho. I was like, this is so obvious that the Dragon Tamer gets reversed into the Scorpion Deathlock. And I love that because of the sting factor with Darby that he's employing that move. It's a nice addition to his moveset, and in the long run, that coffin drop is not going to be sustainable for that much longer. I get that the guy looks like Teflon thus far, but you can't just land on your spine awkwardly like twice a week for the rest of your life. In that way, jumping backwards. Like you can't even do that into a pool every day without getting hurt. It's just that one is as dangerous as they make a wrestling move. So adding something like a submission, like the Scorpion Deathlock, to the mix makes a lot of sense to me. But the most predictable part was the reversal was just bound to happen. It just was.
You are right as well. It is a dragon tamer, but I disagree with you though on the Derby one. I thought that match was just so predictable, and that's what annoyed me about things, because it's a best of 3, right? And they'd already announced the 3rd match. So if it's a best of 3, they're not going to cancel the final match, and they can't do 3. Best of 3 means if it's 2-0 at best of 3, it's cancelled.
It's over.
So they're not going to announce something and then undo it.
I mean, I think you can. You can announce what the match would be. So, for example, I'll give the. I will say this: it's different than wrestling, but in the baseball World Series, we just went to a Game 7. The Dodgers had to win Game 6 to force a Game 7. There's no debating that, right? The series was 3-2. They had already announced the Game 7 starting pitchers before Game 6 was won by the Dodgers to force Game 7. So we knew what the matchup was going to be. But they're not going to. It's a little different, but what I'm saying is, right? Shohei Ohtani, the biggest star in Major League Baseball, they're going to say, listen, that's who the Dodgers are throwing in Game 7. Even if Game 6 isn't won, because they want you to watch. So if they were going to pull the rug out from under, there needed to be a story involved. I think the predictability really showed up more once the bell rang. Then I did believe going in that there was still a possibility of a sweep.
I really didn't. But, I mean, Fernando Zayas says that he's not a fan either. I agree. And then Ant you, just like Clark spreads his just absolute nonsense about Cody Rhodes, Ant you spreads his absolute nonsense about Darby Allin. Darby Allin sucks. Love. And you. Poor Darby. What's Darby Allin ever done?
I don't know. He falls down a lot. I mean, he's got the perfect entrance song. It's I Fell. That's pretty much his whole personality. That's the name of the song.
That's it. I mean, the guy falls a lot, but he doesn't die. Like, he is still immortal. I'm saying it. I've been saying it for ages. Darby Allin is immortal. He's the first immortal human. It is incredible, and it needs to just be praised. Oh, and Biggs is now in the chat. Timu Spike Dudley. What is going on? What is going on?
I don't know. I will say this. My very own father, after watching CM Punk's first match back in AEW with Darby Allin, was like, dude, that little guy, this is my dad's first time ever seeing Darby Allin. He goes, the little guy Darby carried him. We watched that match at ringside. That's my dad's exact quote.
That is great. That is great. Right. Up next, guys, need to do a little bit of an explanation as to why a certain video didn't go up today. Completely my fault. I mean, completely honest, I woke up, wasn't feeling too well, had a little bit of sleep paralysis, as they call it, and I was like, yeah, today's top 10 video isn't getting up today. I wasn't able to get up until a few hours later, but it is recorded and it will be up tomorrow, so don't worry, it is done. Me and Clark give our top 10 options to retire John Cena. Make sure to check it out tomorrow. Then tomorrow's top 5 takes of the week, that's going to come out on the weekend, so no worries, it all still will be happening. It's just... I'm having a week. A week. That's the best way to describe this. I'm having a week. But don't you guys worry. We will have all of that content.
Only one more day until you can comment, take Clark's mic away based on my top 10 list about John Cena. His retirement match.
Well, actually,
your favorite.
Clark, I'm not sure if you checked the Instagram comments yesterday.
What?
Coach 23. Yeah, on yesterday's show, said that AEW wasn't the underdog, and me and Clark torched him a little bit. Not happy with us, Clark, in the slightest.
I would imagine.
Took to Instagram last night to leave a comment about how Wrestling Republic was better 3 years ago.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if he watched any shows 3 years ago. I think he probably did, right?
3
But
years
3
ago?
years ago, the podcast was me sitting at an angled camera, looking like I had a gun to my head, saying, every
Yeah.
minute.
I
don't...
graphics. We weren't even cool then. That was like, we were in the minor leagues. I get being nostalgic, but that seems far too in the past to get that excited about it.
Wow.
I also just
he torched us, Clark. He said he's no longer a fan.
What?
No, he really did. It was
Redonkulous.
brutal.
Wow.
I read it. It was the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning. And I'm like, Coach 23, come on. You make fun of what we say. We sometimes make fun of what you say. That's how this works.
Yeah, you
Now
gotta
we're
be
taking
able
it
to,
personally.
You gotta be able to take it if you're gonna give it.
Yeah.
You know. But I
anyway.
I might have to take that back. I think AEW is by far the bigger juggernaut than the WWE. They have way more resources and money. I was wrong about that yesterday.
I mean, look, you only have to, look at the Ridge Holland story to see that clearly, Harvey Emanuel's got his back against the wall here. He's fighting an uphill battle. They can't even pay somebody one more week's wage before terminating somebody if they're injured. So that's the situation we're here now with. But Say is saying, I'm calling it right now, Roderick Strong is going to betray the conglomeration and join the Death Riders at Blood and Guts. Meanwhile, Christopher Leclerc is a fan of the advantage matches, and aren't you saying we're not going to torch Coach 23. We'll leave him alone now.
We got him good enough yesterday.
I like Coach 23. It's just to come at us is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It's unbelievable.
Wrestling Republic isn't as fun as it was 2-3 years ago. I mean, I don't know. And
I've been having a lot of fun recently, so don't count me in that one.
And me out. I'm having a blast.
Yeah, Mary's having a ball.
Exactly.
I'm chilling. What do you mean?
And I honestly don't know how on any level you thought 2 to 3 years ago Wrestling Republic was funner than this. I really, really don't. It's
honestly, maybe we were just like that indie band. Like you found us and you're like, these guys could be sick. And then it's like we go a little bit more mainstream.
Well, this show still is.
We're getting too much radio play.
I don't think that's it, really. I think he's just got annoyed that we called him out for being biased.
We were punk rock before, now we're pop punk.
Anyway, up next, let's talk Mercedes Moné and Athena, shall we? Because going into this tournament, in fact, me and you talked about this last week, Mary. We said that it doesn't really make much sense why they're teaming together, but presumably it's going to be some big angle. Well, they're knocked out, and there wasn't a big angle. They just lost. The big angle was Chris Statlander costing Monet the match. Obviously, that's a match which is happening. They're building towards that. No issues there. I understand it. What I don't understand is what the point in them teaming together was. Because Willow and Harley Cameron going a step further. I'm really happy about that. I really love them as a tag team. But why were Monet and Athena together? And the ending of this tournament gave us no real answers, Mary.
I 100% agree. I was very, 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 very underwhelmed with the Billy Starks angle when she came out of the complete woodwork. Like, where'd she come from? Did she come from the audience? Like, all I just saw was purple hair. She ran for the belt, tries to hand it to Athena. Athena struggles, and then here comes Chris Statlander. That was it. No mix between Monet and Athena at all. It was something out of the complete woodwork to advance Chris and Mercedes' match at Full Gear, yes. But again, that didn't help the tournament at all. I don't want to say the match was a squash. It was a relatively fantastic match. It made the Babes of Wrath look really, really, really good. And honestly, besides the Sisters of Sin, I'm all for the Babes. I'm all in for the Babes.
I'd love for that. And they might be on the same side of the bracket, but if not, I'd love for them to be the final, honestly, because they are two tag teams who feel like genuine tag teams. I mean, Willow and Harley are different, but even still, their just vibe together, I think, is so fun and so entertaining. And I am enjoying it. And I'm enjoying this women's tag team tournament. I really am. And we joke about these new belts, right? But the women's tag is the one set of belts which should be introduced here. Like that was long overdue. And I'll give them credit, right? Because when WWE introduced the belts, it kind of felt like there wasn't really a plan. In AEW, they've not made the same mistake thus far. I mean, we're going to have to see how things develop, but so far I have been pleasantly surprised, Mary.
Me too. I 100% agree. I think AEW kind of hit the home run here, since we were talking about the World Series. When they're showcasing their tag teams for the women's division. I mean, no offense to the men. I feel like the men are just a par with the girls right now. So I said it last week and I'll say it again. AEW tag team wrestling, 10 out of 10. But for just the women's tag team tournament, I feel like that needed to be, it was so long overdue. And now I feel with this national championship, I really, really, really do not want it to deter away from that kind of special moment, because there are so many original tag teams that are waiting for kind of their spotlight moment. And we don't kind of need just another men's mid-card belt just to kind of take up more time.
Exactly.
Take up more time. We don't need that. I need tag team fantastic wrestling on my TV. I don't want to see the Don Callis family hold the belt again. No, thank you.
I like the Don Callis family, but you are right. Like the women's wrestling has, we've said this for months, but it's true. It's carried WWE and AEW in 2025. Women's wrestling has been the highlight of the wrestling world. It really has been. And it is just a bit crazy to me that they're introducing even more men's belts when the women's belts aren't even being showcased. In fact, the men's belts aren't even being showcased every week anymore either.
They're not. It's really defeating.
I don't even know. I honestly can't. Like, jokes aside, I really can't get my head around what they're doing with this title situation. Like, it's either a joke that Tony Khan's doing, or genuinely, it's like me with news templates for Instagram, where I used to love to just change them because I love designing them, and it was almost like an addiction. Maybe Tony Khan's got the same thing with title belts. Maybe that's it.
It's possible. It's for sure possible. I will say, though, with the match last night, Harley Cameron monster shout out, because every single thing she touches turns to gold right now. She's entertaining just hanging out on the apron somehow. Like, that level of charisma is hard to find. And in tag action with the tag team psychology and her character work, it fits so well. I'm blown away every single time I see her on TV. It's like the sky's the limit for Harley.
You're absolutely right there. We've got a few comments here. Boycott Activism says they need a brand split. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I mean, look, I always talk about the benefits of doing a brand split in any company, but the issue is I'm not entirely sure if they have the amount of top. Well, in fact, I'm sure they don't have the amount of top stars available right now to do it because of the amount of injuries they have. DCX Warlord says, "You sure that wasn't Bailey?" Billy Starks.
That's pretty old. Okay.
That's a good one.
That's good.
That was a good one.
Warlord, well played.
Well played.
And Fernando Zayas
this week.
Tony needs to go to new championship rehab. I mean, yeah.
My name's Tony Khan, and I am a new title addict.
And I love introducing belts.
So, who of all the people who you have hurt, Tony? Every other champion. Every other singles champion. They're the ones I've hurt. It's going to have to make amends, write apology letters to all of them. But up next, guys, we need to talk about something which I did enjoy. And there's been a lot of criticism online about this Dynamite main event last night. I really did enjoy it. I genuinely enjoyed it because it made the Ops feel really powerful. It made them feel really important. They absolutely brutalized the babyface team. They took out Huck really early into the match. Then Powerhouse Hobbs took out Hangman Page later on in the match. And in the end, Eddie Kingston couldn't do it all alone and fell down. The Ops looked fantastic during it. I'm really enjoying their heel run so far. And honestly, I'm really glad they turned Samoa Joe heel because this Hangman story, I'm really enjoying it, Clark.
I'm on the exact same page. I thought this was the most fun match of the night for sure. I enjoyed it way more than the online criticism I was stunned by. Obviously, you know, as the leader of the Hookamaniacs, I love to see the Hookster, and I thought he did a great job last night. And like you said, he was eliminated early, then he sort of came back in later in the match. Hangman's great, getting carried out at the end. I enjoyed But I have to give a monster shout out personally to Eddie Kingston, because not a lot of people realize the mountain he had to climb to return. The amount of injuries that he let just sit and worked around for so many years. And he finally got to a point in his career where it was like, we got to fix some stuff here. And that is a huge mountain to climb. And some of the matches that he had towards the end and over the last few years, while injury riddled, were heavily criticized. Of course, he's not going to be as fast as he was in his athletic prime and all of that. But I thought Eddie Kingston did a heck of a job in a difficult scenario opposite people the size of Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs, and with the speed of Shibata, to be able to work in this match alongside them, given Kingston's injury history and his age at this point, was so impressive to me. And I really, truly enjoyed the match because, like you said before, Ben, man, was this the coming out party for the Ops as heels. This was the Ops. Like, you do not mess with those three. It was an absolute beatdown in every way, but still entertaining. This one felt more like a beatdown than a squash. Like, those are almost two different things. And that's what was so impressive to me. The psychology of the match made a lot of sense. You know, people over the years, and rightfully so in some situations, I think a little bit harsh in others, criticize the amount of not just tag, but multi-person matches, right? Like, here's your 10-man tag to open Dynamite. That's been a criticism of AEW for quite some time. This one, for a trios match, I thought landed and psychologically landed in every way. It was a great way to finish the show.
You're absolutely right. It truly was. And like you said, it was 12 minutes. This wasn't some squash, but it was just long. It was brutal. And it kind of, I don't want to say it took the air out of the venue a little bit, but it kind of was like gutting. Like, to just see this babyface team, like you were waiting for like a hot tag, which never came. It was just brutality. And I've been a Powerhouse Hobbs fan for years now. I don't know if he's going to reach the heights I hoped he would at one point. I don't know. Hopefully he still can. I'm a little bit unsure. But right now he feels like a beast. And that I'm really, really happy about. But he says in the comments, I'm not going to lie, I would rather have the Ops versus the Hurt Syndicate. That would be a good program going into next year. It absolutely would be, and we can get to that point. There's no denying it. Numero 1 says, I'm thinking Hook will screw over Joe by simply just being there and staring at him, because Wrestling 101 states that if you play your entrance music, wrestlers forget what's going on and become distracted. But Mary, what's your thoughts on this main event?
I absolutely love this main event. It, like I said, in every single Dynamite review I've been on, Samoa Joe, that is all. He made this dominant faction tonight look, well, last night's main event look absolutely phenomenal. They didn't squash the babyface team, but they, like you guys said, they just showed their absolute true dominance, as they should, because they're beasts. They're the trios champs. The last trios champs that we've had, they weren't showcased as dominant as they should be. So to have the Ops now hold the belts for quite some time, they could hold it till next All In. That's fine. To showcase how truly, excuse my language, but badass that they are. They're truly just awesome. I loved Powerhouse Hobbs, how dominant he's becoming. I feel like he could be next world champ by next year.
Wow.
I'm saying world champ by next year. Or at least another TNT championship at some point.
I could see that happening. I could see that happening.
He is so good. His strong power and how he manhandled Eddie Kingston. I was like, wow, it was just awe. A lot of awe in there. And I was like, I need more Powerhouse on my TV.
Absolutely. I mean, look, he has been somebody who, since the pandemic era of AEW, people have been like, this guy needs to become like one of the top guys in the company. And I think maybe, I don't want to say the time's passed, but I do think that maybe they've decided he's not going to be that level.
Scares me to death, because there was a time in my life where it was Hobbs and Wardlow. And how could you ever mess it up?
And they messed it up.
And like that last comment from Numero, right? Numero 1?
Yeah.
about the Hurt Syndicate. I think I said it couple Dynamites
Sorry,
prior.
that was by Seiyu.
Yes.
Sayo. Sorry, Sayo. Forgive me. I really want to see the Ops versus the Hurt Syndicate run it back. When they did that few minute bout, I want to see a 15-minute banger.
I forgot about
between.
that. Yeah.
It was not as long as it should, only because they were advancing a really, really, really not interesting storyline. But
Which they're still advancing, by the way. That happened last night
that's
too.
why I was like, if they gotta hold it till next year, till Hurt Syndicate can get out of this demand.
Ricochet Vortex.
They're out of
the demand. Get out of the demand.
Till the demand's over.
Fine.
The demand is over for this feud.
They've got the same problem as the WWE ticket prices. It's about the demand.
But as far as Hangman, he looked incredibly weak in the best way possible. Seeing Hobbs absolutely do the table. Like I said, I want to see next week their bout be a 15-minute banger. Just long. I want to see a long one between those two.
Absolutely. And of course, blood and guts next week too. So it's going to be a hell of a Dynamite. And you can bet that we will be covering it here at Wrestling Republic. But that does bring us to the end of today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Clark. Thank you to Marion. Thank you to all of you for watching at home. We will be back same time, same place tomorrow. See you then. Peace.